Hello, this is Martha Alter Hines, and I am here with Michelle Dench. And we are going to be hosting a workshop on October 26th that we want to let you all know about. It's called Freeing the Dark Goddesses. And I asked Michelle to be part of a workshop with me, and then this was really Michelle's inspiration and idea. So, Michelle, do you want to start out by just talking about why this arose for you, why it feels so relevant,
Mm,
maybe even the astrology that's uncannily mirroring these themes?
yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Martha. I'm really present to that the calling of these times is to do the deeper work, to go in and heal. And when we talk about the dark goddesses in astrology, at least the goddesses, many of them hold a lot of significance relative to these shadow aspects of the feminine. And a part of what the inspiration was for this space is that we're in a time where we'll be post new moon eclipse in Scorpio with Venus. She, from a morning star, evening star perspective, is in a phase of being down in the underworld. We're also in a time where the themes of Pluto are our power, our suppression or rejection of the feminine power, and of those places within us that may remain unhealed is so strong. And I feel like this is a really beautiful time to be really looking at these archetypes, looking at the invitation um, for healing in our own lives relative to really claiming, seeing, knowing, naming those parts, those places, and where they're connected to our deeper desires, our Pluto being our desire nature and the soul's desire nature to return to source, right? The darkness can't be transmuted or returned to source from my perspective until it's seen, and then when it's seen fully in the light, it disappears, literally. And we are able in this time, especially in an eclipse, to be faced with so much of our psychological and emotional content that to be in a space of ritual, prayer, learning, and community where we can actually come together and bring presence to these archetypes is such a powerful thing to do.
Yeah, and I actually realized I should have said at the beginning, it's not just a workshop, it's actually a workshop ritual. So the intention behind this, and you could say more, is really for us to have a time to drop in deeply into ourselves and begin or continue our own relationship with this dark, quote unquote dark aspects of the feminine, and our own power and our own self-value and our own sense of being fully present as all of who we are, and not surprise, freeing anything in us that we have suppressed, and then doing that specifically by looking at particular archetypes in the array of the feminine archetypes. Do you want to say a little more about how you're hoping we're going to hold the container of the ritual, or that ritualistic aspect of this?
Yeah, I see it as really an opportunity to pray and be with and open to those parts, to their presence, to their gifts, to the understanding. And when we recognize the shadow parts of ourselves that play out um, trauma or drama in our lives are really deep, deep parts calling for healing, calling for love, calling for awareness. When a part of what I'm doing in my own work right now is this soul evolution work, predominantly focused on the transit of Pluto and looking at shame, guilt, fear, all of these things. This workshop that we're doing together is really giving an opportunity to specifically focus on those aspects of the feminine. And we're going to be looking at the asteroid goddesses Lilith, Persephone, Ceres, Eris, these parts that have been um, rejected, really, in many ways, can be reclaimed in the container of prayer and ritual. Not, um, it's like if you're in an emotional process in your own life, if you're in a deep healing process, when you bring that stuff in and you allow yourself the space to feel it, and there's an opening that can happen to healing and integrating those parts to where they actually become now in service to your good, in service to your gifts, and in service to a more whole sense of self.
Yeah. And I also, when I started to look at some of the transits with these goddesses coming into 2023, I was really astounded by well, so Pluto will be squaring the nodes of the moon precisely on, I think it's July 22nd, 2023. But then I did a talk on Ceres and Persephone last week. And so I was looking at the transits of Ceres and Persephone in the coming year. And I noticed that, for example, I think it's in October of 2023, there will be a new moon, another new moon eclipse next year, where Persephone will be on the south node of the moon. Eris will be on the north node of the moon,
Mm,
and Pluto will still be within orb-ish of squaring the nodes. So it's like these, I was trying to feel into what is the role that these goddesses are playing with this whole dynamic of Pluto squaring the nodes. And I don't feel like I have the answer, but one thing that I was feeling as I was dropping into it is that Pluto squaring the nodes of the moon is, an incredibly transformative opportunity, of course. And it can feel pretty difficult, potentially, maybe. So one thought I had about Persephone sitting there on the south node of the moon, and Ceres also will be transiting the south node of the moon, I think within a month of Persephone being on the south node of the moon. Ceres will come first and then Persephone will follow. But it's like they both, in a sense, are, especially Persephone, one way I see her is she's midwifes us into the underworld. She can be a handhold. Like if we need to go down into the underworld and do this Pluto work, maybe part of it is that these goddesses are a way for us to feel more held and more safe, and like give us a gentler entrance into the whole thing.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's so many possibilities of what these goddesses are doing and what the opportunity they give us is, what role they hold. But acknowledging them, connecting with them, and really feeling their story and their intention and the possibilities that exist with them, to me, is crucial. If we take that away, what we're left with is is very masculine based, which isn't bad. It's just not complete. So there's all these other layers to the story.
I love what you're saying about Persephone. It feels like walking into the underworld to do our work, which is a process of going through numerous tests in order to grow and transform. And we're doing it with a trusted friend or a guide who already has been there and she's passed the test. She's familiar with the terrain. So there's a way in which, I our intention for this workshop is really to bring forward those partners, those friends, that those parts of ourselves that we can meet in a way. And I'm looking at that transit day. I'm so excited. A part of our workshop will be including like looking at the transits for the year ahead with the goddesses, and even looking at that July date that you gave. It's a pretty powerful constellation of work that is deeply ruled by the feminine. And this workshop, in a sense, giving a taste of preparation
Yeah.
for the coming times ahead.
yeah, just like I feel this eclipse, this new moon eclipse happening this year, the day before our workshop, I feel like it's an invitation, a portal, an entryway into this whole set of energies in the coming year and beyond. But yeah, it's like amazing timing. Perfect timing.
It is really, really great. And so,
Yeah.
so grateful
So
to you for being our host and looking forward to joining you on this journey.
yeah, no, I'm grateful to you. So just in terms of the logistics, the workshop is going to be Wednesday, October 26th, 2022, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And it can be, you can attend live, you can have the recorded, it will be uploaded, and you can have it indefinitely. You don't need to be there live. But if you are there live, you also get the recording. And what other logistics? Anything I'm forgetting?
Nothing that I can think of in this moment.
Awesome.
There's registration details and everything that people need to know in the links below, and I'm sure they can email you
Yes.
questions.
Yeah. Or you, or any of you. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. And just reach out to me at livingtheonelight@gmail.com, or Michelle, what's the best way to reach you?
Astrologywithmichelle@gmail.com.
Wonderful. Let's see you soon.
Thank you.